Hello, everybody, and welcome to the top 5 new comics of May 7th and 8th of 2024. I'm, as always, Chris. Hope you all enjoyed your free comic book day. Got to check out some new books, got some cool sales, did some fun stuff. I know I did. But that's enough of that. Let's go on and talk about what's coming out this week. Starting with Shazam, number 11. This is written by Josie Campbell with art by Emanuela Lupacchino. The Shazam book, ever since the start, we started with Dan Moore and Mark Waid. Now we've moved on to this new creative team, and it's kept the energy of the book so well. The humor, the action, everything about it has just been really well done from writer to writer, artist to artist in this. And it's been really a joy. Shazam's become more of a mainstream character, but for the longest time was somewhat of an underrated character that you'd see here and there. We see more of him nowadays, which is really nice because it's a lighthearted character that I really enjoy and I think just deserves more attention in the industry. It's a blast. I have really enjoyed this series. I think the art has been phenomenal. Emanuela has been doing an amazing job on this book. It's everything about it. If you're looking for something a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun, that still has that superhero action, this is definitely the book to pick up. After that, we've got Blood Hunt, Dracula, number 1. This is written by Danny Lore with art by Vincenzo Carratu. Last week, we got Blood Hunt number 1, and we got the free comic book day issue to go with that. I got to read it. I really enjoyed what I read of it. I thought it was a great start for an event. While it was a little slow at first, it is just setting up like this. These are the rules of engagement of what's going on, where everybody's at, the twists and turns along the way. I just had a blast with it. I mean, you put vampires in almost anything, and I'm there. And to do it in this way with the Marvel Universe is just, I've been really excited for it ever since it was announced, with just a great slew of creators across the board writing these books. And Dracula is one of those characters in the Marvel Universe that has, for the longest time, was kind of behind the shadows. Like, we knew he was involved with Blade, and he's there, but he's seen a resurgence as of recently. In my opinion, it kind of starts with Jason Aaron's Avengers run, where he brought Dracula in as a villain for it. And then we've seen more and more of him throughout the years recently. And if you're going to do a vampire-centric event, you got to get Dracula involved in some way. Knowing that Dracula isn't the behind what's going on. A bit of a spoiler for Blood Hunt, but not a huge one. We now got to see, like, what's he think of all this, what's going on. So I'm really excited to see his perspective on what's going on in all this, where the character stands, and how his position works with the big twist at the end of issue 1. So a little hard to discuss without spoiling the big twist, but it's a doozy. And for where that character and Dracula's relationship is, it's very important to see where he stands with everything. And I like the idea of giving him a series to kind of run through it, as opposed to making it a B story as a part of the main issue series. Although I'm sure we'll see Dracula show up and give his thoughts in the main series as well. So I'm really excited for this event. It's one of the few times where I can say tie-in books are something I'm actually looking forward to in the event. And this is the first one to come out immediately after issue 1 and what's going on. So, yeah, I think Blood Hunt's going to be one to watch this year. It just looks like a lot of fun. And after that, I've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Black, White, and Green, number 1. This has multiple writers and artists on it. So it's hard to go through them all. But we do have Paulina, Ganucheau, Declan Shalvey, and a few more as well. So not going to sit here and pretend I'm the biggest Turtles fan in the world. I do enjoy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The live action movie from the 90s are really big to me. I was the right age to pick up those movies and really fall in love with them. The cartoon from the 80s was something I found around that time as well. And every so often I dive into the Turtles comic world and always enjoy when I do. Like they're known characters that I really like and enjoy when they show up. And we've got a big like 40th anniversary thing going on. We got a big reboot for the main series Turtle comics line. There's a lot going on. And this is one that after you see this, I will most likely have a review up for this issue as well. But this is one that, as I'm heading into this new world of Turtles, becoming excited for what the Turtles have to offer, I love this idea. The black, white, and red stuff that Marvel's done, and then DC's done a few of them too, black, white, and blue, black, white, and pink, all these kinds of things. But the black, white, insert color here, anthology books that a lot of these publishers are doing are always a ton of fun. I mean, they've done a bunch at Marvel Star Wars with aliens, with different characters in the Marvel Universe. It's just always a good time. And I like the idea of doing this. We don't have to worry too much about continuity or anything like that. We can just tell cool micro Turtles stories. An anthology book that can celebrate the history of the characters and the different iterations of them. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the series has to offer, and to have some of the names attached to it that has. I mean, Declan Shalvey in the first issue is big, and I know in future issues there's other creators as well. It just seems like a great time to be an existing Turtles fan, to be a new Turtles fan, to be someone coming back to the Turtles. No matter where you are on that spectrum, it seems like a good time to enjoy some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I, for one, am really excited for this one in particular. Check it out. After that, we've got The Deviant, number 5. This is written by James Tynion IV with art by Josh Hixson. So The Deviant's a weird book. I'm not the biggest horror fan, although I am finding my niche inside of horror stuff. It tends to be either classic horror or psychological horror. There are things inside that genre I enjoy. And this one falls in that weird, like, serial killer horror bend. We've got this character who went out and murdered all these people very gruesomely, but it's not done. The book itself isn't done in a way that's like murder porn. It's more of a investigation. It almost feels like a documentary, but instead of it being a film, it's about a comic writer writing a comic about a serial killer. So it's very meta as well. But the twists and turns along the way for this book have been very interesting. The last issue, we had this giant twist that may have changed the entire output of the book. And then some of the meta politics behind it too have been interesting to go through. I think at times they're done heavy-handedly, but for the most part, they've been very subtle and well placed throughout the book. As a package, this has been a very interesting title to read, because while I really look forward to it and it's on my top 5, I still am not 100% sure how I feel about it in terms of whether I think it's a great book or not. It's one that always has me thinking and looking forward to it. And it's one of those books that I really don't think I'll have a grand feeling about it until the last issue. So it's just been very interesting to go through this book. If you're any kind of horror fan, you like documentaries about serial killers, or movies like American Psycho are like the closest I can think of, but even then, I'm not sure. It's just a very unique book inside this comics world where we get a lot of horror titles nowadays. It seems like that is a budding genre for comics. pretty much everything. But I mean, in the comics world, it's a very budding genre where I see it all the time. It's like every other book announced as a horror book. And this one stands out to me as something different from what everyone else is doing. And that's a testament to Tynion and the amazing work he's done in his career. So yeah, the Deviant's been an interesting book. I really do look forward to checking it out. And after that, I've got White Boat #1. This is written by Scott Snyder with art by Francesco Francavilla. So not only do we have a all-star creative team, like these are two guys that were doing books at DC Comics together, like main Justice League type books, but we're at this publisher Distillery, who I'm still feeling out Distillery and what they are, because they're so unique. And that's not a bad thing. It's good to be unique in this world that we're in, but it does place you in a spot that is interesting. We'll put it that. And the things I've read by them, what I like about what I've read by Distillery is that they're swinging for the fences, man. Like they're doing these books that I just don't see any other publisher publishing. And then they're publishing in a format that nobody else is publishing. It's, like I said, it's interesting to say the least. And White Boat was one right off the bat where you told me Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. I was there. I was going to check it out. And then, like, we got this, once again, there seems to be a lot of meta politics inside this kind of horror action book where we've got, it's all about this mega yacht for the super rich, and it gets attacked by some sort of giant creature. And they're trying to see their way through all of that while it's going on. So I do like the premise. I like the design of some of the weird monsters we've got here. There's a lot going for it. I want to see how horror it gets, because they do place it as a horror book. And like I say, I kind of said it was Deviant. It's hard to say horror anymore, because a lot of people, when you say like horror, and I was like this for years, they think murder porn. They think Saw, and some of these books are just, or not even books, some of these movies are just excuses for people to see grotesque things. But they don't think about stuff like the Deviant, or stuff like Dracula, or zombie stuff, like that may be still gruesome in nature, but not as like in your face, all about those moments. Those moments emphasize the horror of the moment more than the scare for the sake of blood and gore. So I'll be interested to see where that is. As far as the plot and what's going on, it seems interesting. Like we're dealing with mega rich, we're dealing with the mega yacht, we're dealing with cults, and then somehow this Cthulhu-esque giant monster shows up. I'm just very intrigued of everything going on here. So I'll be right there beside everybody checking this one out. I think it looks interesting. It's got a great creative team. And like I said, Distillery doing some very interesting stuff. So they're a publisher to watch for the years to come. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have a second and you want to support this channel, like, subscribe, share, comment down below. All those things help these videos grow and to make sure that you can see more of them. So if you do that, that's the easiest and best way to support this channel. And if you want to support me or follow me, you can go over my Substack at chriscomicscorner.substack.com, where all of my reviews are at, and some of my other things I do there as well. Have a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying writing those articles up every week. So I hope you are too. And also my podcast, Fortune Comic News. We do a weekly podcast all about comic books, where we interview comic creators and do all types of different stuff inside the comics world. I hope you all enjoy that too. If you have not checked it out, please, on whatever podcatcher you listen to podcasts on, subscribe, check it out there. And if you can't find it on your podcatcher of choice, let me know and I'll get it up there for you. I'm pretty sure we're up everywhere, but there's always holes. So let's fill them up. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all here next week.